A while back, Lee and I were talking in the comments section. He was curious of what gear I'm using now compared to when I started out originally about 5 or 6 years ago backpacking. And I thought to myself, that'd make a great idea for a video. So I just got back for the meetup at Big South Fork, the 2016 Bushcraft meetup. This is the pack I took to hike the Devil's Den Cave. It is exactly loaded down with everything I had on that trip going up the mountain. And you're going to want to check Billy Joe's video out of Bill in the Hills, and you're going to want to check Kenneth Kramm's video out, and you'll see what we went through to get to that place. Everything is in here except for the equipment for the night vision cameras, all the lighting equipment we use to film in the cave. I brought everything out here, and of course the cameras are set up right now, so everything I had in that trip is in this pack right now, including the food, water, and everything else. So let's get started. I'm going to start from the bottom of the pack. And a couple things I want you to notice right off the bat. Everything I do, I clip to the pack. So originally I started carrying the Texport tent without the case. Then I noticed as I was bushwhacking, it kept getting caught on tree limbs, and I didn't want to rip the tent or take a chance of doing it. So I put it inside its package, or the original pack it came in with. And as you can see, I have it clipped down to the backpack. That way, just in case something rare, would really rarely happen, this thing would come loose out on the trail, because you know I do a lot of bushwhacking. This tent's going to stay there and not fall out. Another thing I found out as I started using it, actually, the bag that it comes in, and you can notice a little duct tape I have on there. Accidentally ripped the bag there, but the bag has a multiple use. I use it, I'm going to take all the gear out of it, as my critter bag. When I'm out camping, I put everything in there, zip it up, and put my 550 on there, and I'll show you that here in a minute, and tie this little sucker to a tree. So it doubles as a critter bag, so it's a multiple use unit. Okay. So, Texport tent. I bought this 5 years ago. I'm still using it. I've been very happy with it. Little heads up, you get what you pay for. It does condensate, and I don't care how hard you seam seal this thing, and I put the silicone spray on there to waterproof it. It's going to leak a little bit. Still using the exact same tent poles. I haven't changed that out yet, and I haven't broke the tips off of them. The original stakes that came with it, I do not use. These are the ones I just picked up at Wally World. Real cheap. They do bend, but they're lightweight, and I've had no problems with them. Okay, so there's been the tent. We're going to go now to flip this little guy around a bit. The top section of the pack. And you guys all notice this is the thermal rest right here. And once again, if you look real carefully, it is also tied to the top of the Alice pack. Just in case, because I've hit trees before and I've knocked this off on accident. Everything, like I said, is attached to the pack with one of these clips. And of course I got a nice little AM steeled handle, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. Let's put you right here for now. The thermal rest I've had a long time. We are going on, I want to say, this may be the 4th or 5th season for this little guy. And she is just getting beat to heck. See the holes in it, burnt from fires. I wore the silver completely off this thing. Yeah, it's been through a lot of uses. Okay, there's one other item I normally carry into thermal rest that's not in here today, and that's my machete. That's the CRKT Halfachance, I think it is. The reason I'm not carrying it is because I'm somewhere I'm not supposed to be, and if I get caught, I don't want to have to explain why I've got a big machete on me. Alright. Let's get into the good stuff on the inside of the pack. Now, I'm still using my Alice pack that I started out with. Of course, it's got a lot of mods on it. I do have a lot of videos on the mods I have done to it. Feel free to check those out. I'm just going to pop this little guy open and kind of see what's inside. The cool thing about the Alice pack, it is so small. I mean, this is the medium size. You have to really think about the gear you're going to be putting in it. So, with that being said, you can't carry a lot of extra stuff, and it really helps to keep the weight down. The first thing, and most important, I had to carry, I've got an extra shirt for sleeping. You notice it's black, it's thick, that's for the nighttime, just in case it gets cold. And the all-important extra socks, because you just never know. You need to switch your socks out before you sleep, and then dry the other ones out and put them on the next day. That really helps prevent getting blisters. Okay, down at the bottom here, we're going to dig in. Actually, let's start at the top, since that'll be a lot easier. Still using the same cooking utensils. We'll break those out here in a minute. Charge up pack. Food. Yes, I'm still using the Mountain House, but I always carry extra with me. I've got a soup mix in here, and I've got some military rations. We'll go through that here in a minute. Emergency backup food. Like I said, I always overcarry. Sawyer squeeze, very important to have. These are the bars I use. I call them my little carb bars. These are what I eat out on the trail. I put them in these little containers so they don't get squished. And I've got two of those. I got one for one day, and I designate the second one the next day, of course. Toothbrush. And yep, I am still using one of my rechargeable lights. I think this is the 700 luminous. Yeah, this is a 700 luminous, and I also have a 10,000 luminous one, which I only carry when I do caves. Okay, so we got our top section now. Of course, right here, we've got the tactical pink hand sanitizer dispensing unit. Darby, I know you know what I'm talking about. I have one. And the whistle. Okay, second section of the pack. We got an extra water bottle. My sleeping bag. I'm not carrying my big knife with me, just for the simple fact, once again, I'm somewhere I'm not supposed to be, so I'm keeping it in my pack just in case. This is a pillow. Extra water, extra water. Of course, my rain jacket here. The story behind the water is I always carry more water than I need. For instance, when we were hiking up the side of that mountain to get to Devil's Den, one of us, not mentioning any names, Billy Joe, didn't bring water with him. He was going to find a stream and use his Sawyer squeeze to filtrate the water. What ended up happening is we went on top of the mountain, or on the top, you know, up on one of the ledges there, and there's no water up there, but I had extra water, so I never count on a water source unless I'm absolutely positive. Okay, this side section here, I got my med kit. You guys have seen videos with that. I'm still using the exact same stuff I had in it last time. I haven't changed anything out. Well, about once a year I go through there and check all the items that are in there, like the ibuprofen, Benadryl. I got aspirin in there, and the bandages, to make sure they haven't expired and are still usable. So I do that once a year. On the side here, and a lot of you see me just carry this around my shoulder. This is the H2O pouch. Inside I just got the Stanley cup, or one of these Stanley, I'm not sure what water containers, water bottles, and it holds almost 32 ounces of water. You notice I did quit carrying the Nalgene water bottles because they're a lot heavier. And with the Stanley, this is stainless steel. If I had to, I can boil water in this little guy. Of course, take the top off first. Another thing I've done, I found myself never using my headlamp anymore. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to take it out of my pack. I don't need the extra weight in there. So I got my headlamp out. Instead, now I carry these little guys right here. I think this is an Ozark Trails, and I don't know what brand these are, but these are 170 luminous. I carry these now instead. I find I use this more often. I clip this on my backpack and I can see at night. I can pull this off, put it on one of the camera tripods. I can see the whole area, or glowy teeth, so I can so I don't have a problem seeing. So I carry a lot more of these, and to come to find out, 2 of these weigh about the same weight as my my headlamp was. So I really didn't do anything but add just a couple ounces, adding this third one here, because I carry 3 because I do like cave exploring. And of course, we all know I got the GPS right here. Here's one of them. The second one, which is Michelle, and that's my backtrack GPS. I'm carrying her right here in this pouch. Flip this little guy around. I think we're just about done with this pack. Okay, there's a couple other items I'm going to pull out real fast, and then we're going to take a closer look at what I got sitting up here. I'm going to pull the sleeping bag in this out of the way. Yes, I still have the Crown Royal bags. I have not quit carrying them. I'm not going to really open them up, but in a minute I'm explaining what's in each one of them. The cool thing is I transfer these from my house pack to my everyday pack or multiple use pack, and it's the exact same setup, so in the dark I can find everything. The Stanley Cook set. This is my other Crown Royal bag. Of course, this is my pack hanger. So we get this out of the way. There's one other item, or 2 other items I've got with me today. Solar panel charger, which I'm going to need here in a little bit because I'm going to be here for 2 days. And this little guy right here to keep me out of trouble. I'm going to leave that alone. Okay. Back to the sleeping bag. Notice everything is in Ziplocs. There's a reason for that. Even though they say it's not going to rain, it ends up raining on me. This is just the cheap Ozark Trails cocoon bag down at 32, which actually means it's good at 40 Fahrenheit. The trick with these things is, as soon as you get your campsite, you want to open it up. Let this thing fluff up again, because I think this one's down or synthetic. I don't remember. I'll have to double check that. And we're going to look real fast just to make sure. Okay, it's synthetic with some duck down mixed in with it. So you want this to fluff back up in order to keep you warm at night. So that's the first thing I do when I get to my campsite. This is really cool. Picked this up at Academy a while back. This is a new piece of gear I added last year, and I found out I love the darn thing. I do not want to get rid of it, and it's worth the extra weight. That's basically just a little bitty Magellan blow-up pillow. I'm just going to leave that there and let it kind of air itself up. And once again, we have another sack to put something in if we need after we take the pillow out of there. Let's start over here. As you notice, they're all in Ziplocs, and the Ziploc is a multiple use too. I use them to grab water and carry trash out if I need to be. I'm not going to dump these bags out because I'm pretty sure everybody knows what's in them anyway. We'll do a real quick recap. This one here has got, whoops, there we go. This one here has got some drink mixes in there, hot chocolate, oatmeal, and little candies. Basically, it's a breakfast bag. This one here contains my fire kit. We'll dump it. What the heck? Maybe. Whoop! Get this out of the way. Do a quick dump. The bug net, compass, a lot of my fire kit right here, extra lighters, and my drop fire starters. We've got my stove. I've been through several different stoves, but it's still basically the same. I'm still using the good old Stanley, and I'm using a D-Power stove that has the line on it. The main reason is for that when you're cooking in the winter time, most of you know that these things you have to turn them upside down and shake them in order to get the fuel come out in the winter because it freezes up on you quite a bit. So Originally I had the Coleman cook kit. Now I'm using the good old Stanley. Still using the good old cold steel. Love that thing. A lot of use out of her, as you can tell. Inside the cold steel, because this is with me at all times, simply have the Strike Force. Great way to make a fire. Have not changed that either. Just get out of the way. Raincoat, this is just the Frog Togs. Get these little guys from Wally World, not a big deal. You notice I'm carrying water bottles now instead of the Nalgene water bottles. One, they're individual. They're a lot lighter than the Nalgene water bottles. And believe it or not, they're pretty darn sturdy. It takes a lot to pop one of these suckers open. And I can crunch them down to my pack and save room and then refill them again. And they also, which is really cool, where'd they go? Is they screw on to the Sawyer squeeze, so they're easier to fill. Yep, I'm still using the same Sawyer squeeze. Hasn't changed. Flashlight, you guys know about. Drink mixes on my, there's a drink mix right there. You can see the little guy. Great. My carb bars. This is the electronics bag. It's got the extra tripod in it. Along there, extra batteries for the cameras. GPS, and that's Intense Energy to charge up my cell phone. Toothbrush to me, very important. And of course the mountain houses. Yes, I still eat these when I'm backpacking. I do not do gourmet meals. Sorry about that, guys. When I'm backpacking, I'm pushing the miles, but there's like an MRE in here. I think this one's either, yep, this is a little French toast. This is one of the Benfords. And of course there's a soup mix. This I hasn't changed either. Still using the exact same things I used before. And titanium long handle spoon and the titanium spork, little spatula. Don't know why I carry the guy. Get you out of the way there. But I still do. And the P1 can opener. There. Okay, there's one more item I want to show you in the pack. Let's grab this little guy. We need to open up the top section. This is where we keep the most important item of all. Besides the 550. Actually, this 550 I have right here, this is what I use to hang my critter bag up. There's about 30 foot of this. There's two clips on there. I throw it around the tree. Simply clip. There we go. Instant bear bag. Okay. Back to the original project. We got the all-important gloves. Come in very handy. Yet I still burn my fingers. Toilet paper. A lot of toilet paper. Very handy item to have. More so than that, wet ones for freshening up, bandana, and a coffee filter. The coffee filter is for if I go to an area where there's a lot, and I mean a lot of sediment in the creek, what I do is I put the coffee filter and I attach it to one of these bags and filter most of the sediment out of there before I hook Mr. Sawyer squeeze up to it, which apparently is in this mess of crap I've got on there. And then, okay, here we go. And then I pour the filtered water that I got the sediment out of. Then I put it in the Sawyer squeeze bag, and that's how I use it to keep the filter from clogging out. And of course, more Ziplocs. You cannot have enough Ziplocs. Okay, a while back, Billy Joe was asking me why I carry all these extra clips on my pack. I've got tons of them, and they come in very handy from tying stuff up, tying stuff to the pack, use it for a grip to climb up the side of a rope. There's another reason, and it really helps if I figure out what I did with my little things of 550. Okay, I don't have them on this pack. tossed. I guess they're still in my everyday pack. Okay, I'll show you real quick anyway with this little guy. I cut my 550 to certain lengths. It doesn't matter, maybe a 6 foot, a couple 6 foot, a couple 10 foots. And at the end of each one of the links, I put a loop. Instead of tying the 550 together all the time, and then untying it, which can be a pain in the butt, because we all know once you stretch your stuff, it's impossible to untie. I use the clips to hook everything together, the little pieces of 550. See, there's one on this end right here. That way everything holds and I don't have to tie a knot. And it's real easy to take apart. Now remember, these clips are not climbing clips. They will not hold your weight. I tried them on my hammock, did not work out so well. But they're strong enough to hold like a tarp up or a tent or something like that. Okay, we're going to do a quick recap. And then I'm going to clean my mess up. And it's probably going to be time to cook dinner. I'd like to get that done before the sun goes down. Quick recap. I haven't really changed anything from when I started out 5 years ago. When I buy something, I use it, I like it, I keep it. Okay. The only thing I really changed was my cook kit. Right here, I quit using the Coleman setup and went with the Stanley. And then I went from the regular, the cheap backpacking stove to the D-Power stove because I liked having that extra length of tubing on there. I can flip the container upside down. But other than that, I haven't really changed anything. Still using the same cooking utensils, the same camera setup. Now I have upgraded the flashlights. Originally I started out with the Coleman one you put batteries in. And now I'm just using these Ozanam, or I think it's an Ozanam Trails flashlights that recharged by the USB port. Forgot them for a minute. Oh, bug repellent. Hang on. Because it is tick and flea season. But honestly, I haven't changed anything. I'm still using the same Alice pack. Still using the exact same Texport tent. Like I said, when I find a product, I pretty much stick with it until I break it or find something that impresses me more. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up because it looks like I ended up doing a pack dump anyway, and I really wasn't intending on doing that. But this is everything I carried down at Big South Fork for the 2016 Spring Bushcraft Meetup. And this is the exact same setup I took to Devil's Den, and we were going to spend a night by the cave and do some night filming up there, but that didn't work out. Watch the videos. You got Billy Joe's here, and he explains what happened, and then we got Kenneth Kramm's over here, explains more of what happened, and you put those two together and you'll get an idea that, yeah, things got interesting quick. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll explain them the best I can. Comments are always welcome, but a little heads up, it takes time for me to answer them due to my work situation. And lately I've been finding myself more and more going off grid to relieve unwanted stress, such as today. I did a little hike. I'm somewhere I'm not supposed to be. I'm spending the night, and I'm going to do a little bit more hike and leave this area. So yes, I'm doing a ninja camping setup. Like always, friends, thanks for watching.
Hopefully 5 minutes should have a light 48 weeks late.
30-33 when you're ready, over.